Okay, I decided to make a really quick video. I just discovered something, or a solution to something that has been driving me crazy for a long time. I've been doing more rigging lately, for my last demo for the skirt, and it had actually been quite a while since I had done any real rigging, probably over a year. And there's always been something a problem area that I thought there was nothing to do, but you had to adjust the weights manually. Or some problem areas. You might be finding other problem areas. I'll demonstrate what I'm talking about. Okay, so I'm going to be doing my crisscross top, and this is the Slink Hourglass body. You can see the skirt I was working on in the other video. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to rig it real quick. And I'm going to show you the issues that I came across. So, alrighty, so I'm going to do all bone select my mesh top. I'm going to go smooth bind, do just the usual. Okay, and you can see now it is rigged. Although you can see some poke through and stuff, like in here. And of course, this isn't rigged to the weights. We need to copy the weights over. And I'll go to bind pose. And if I go to, say, my female appearance editor, and I go to body types, and I go to voluptuous, you can see, yeah, it definitely doesn't change shape the way it's supposed to, right? Which is not surprising, because we haven't copied the weights over yet. So, alright, and this is where the issue is stemming from. So you go to skin weights tools, let's tear that off, and we go to copy skin weights to get this options. I've always just been using the default settings, right? Edit, reset settings. And you select your mesh that you want to copy the weights from, and then you select your mesh top or mesh clothing that you want to copy the weights to, and then you click copy, right? And the thing I've always noticed, and in some cases it's worse than others, but you can really see there's a lot of poke through right here, and I'm like going, why is it doing that? Because all the other parts does really nice. I mean, the breasts, if this top was totally form-fitting, where it was snug, like a wet t-shirt, even the breasts would have changed size properly. Now they do for the most part, but there is some cleanup that needs to be done there, and especially right here in the middle. But that's because this mesh top isn't completely form-fitting like a wet t-shirt. There's this little area right here between the breasts. And this is the same type of problem that you have when you rig a skirt that I've talked about in my last video. Well, anyway, but that's not the reason I was doing this video. The problem I was having was this back area. And it may also be partly the reason why people have some hard time in the shoulder area when they copy the skin weights. I don't know for sure, but this is the one area that I've always noticed. See, and that's really bad, right? If it's really copied the weights and it moves nicely, you can see that the mesh moves nicely, except for this whole area in here just doesn't move the way it should be. And I've noticed this when I've been trying to make fitted mesh for the default avatar. Same sort of area in here. Maybe not quite this dramatic, this bad, but just, it was driving me crazy because the mesh moves really nice, but I know it's not copying the weights properly. So, okay, so this is what I found out. How you fix this problem is don't use the default settings for the copy skin weights. The only setting you have to change is this. So you use so reset the settings, but then here, go to number 1 and switch it to from closest joint to 1 to 1. Now when we do it, we just copy the weights over, Now it pretty much moves perfectly. Except for there's a little spot down here. Oh, that's not even, that little spot down there, that's not even, that's the skirt that's underneath. So let me turn off that skirt. And now, see, it moves absolutely perfect. No poke through, no nothing. You know, it just moves the way it's supposed to. Now, the breasts still need work, you know, but you're not getting any sort of other weird poke through that you don't expect. You know, it's moving exactly the way the mesh is underneath. So, I found that out. That was an area that was always driving me crazy, and I just, you know, like I said, I haven't rigged anything really in over a year, about a year, maybe a little bit more, until I was doing the tutorial for my skirt that I put up yesterday, and so let's see what happens when we go back to bind pose, and let's bring my finished skirt back, right? And now let's take the hourglass skirt. Where's the hourglass skirt? Where's it? Probably looking right at it. Oh, there it is. Okay, so there's the hourglass skirt, right? Because if you have, let's see, turn that off, and even though I've adjusted the weights, we get a little poke through here. You know, we still get a little bit of poke through here and there. Mainly here and here. I don't know if this is going to help, because I already adjusted the weights on this during the video tutorial. But let's see what happens. This is completely, I haven't tried this yet. Let's see what happens when we copy the weights from the slink skirt, to that one, to my skirt, using these new settings. Applied. Okay. And now let's turn that off and see what happens. I still get a bit of poke through here. Now this poke through is mainly due to the vertices. This mesh just isn't nearly as dense. See, there's a whole bunch of vertices in between here and here. So there's no vertices. This is a pretty low poly skirt. I mean, like I said, this fine. An alpha would hide this little bit, but the skirt does still move very nicely. Just copying the weights from slink skirt. You know, so these are just the weights that we get off of the slink skirt when I copied off. Okay, now let's try, which it looks really awesome. If I just had an alpha, or do a little bit, tiny bit of weight painting, we wouldn't even probably even need an alpha. And even the little tiny bit of poke through right here that was showing up before is less than it was before. So it definitely improved the weights. Of course, I made the weights that you saw on the skirt before were completely from scratch. I did not use Slink's skirt. If you've seen the last video, which it's like 2 hours long, you would know that the weights that was on the skirt were not, I did not copy them from the skirt provided, because that wasn't the point of the video. So let's see what happens if we, let's see, go to bind pose, and let's show the slink skirt again. Where is it? Here's the hourglass. I know I just saw it just a minute ago. Hourglass shape. Where is it? Hourglass. Okay, hold on. Okay, there it is. It's skirt for hourglass shape slink. I was looking for hourglass. I'm going hourglass, hourglass. Where is it? Where is it? Sometimes things are staring you right in the face and you miss it. Okay, so select these two. I'm going to put this back to the default. Oops, no. Reset. There we go. Closest joint. Okay. And now let's turn that off and see. Actually, we're getting quite a bit more poke through up here. And we're still getting some poke through here. Front looks okay. It might be my imagination, but this seems to be dropping off more sharply than before. And I know we're getting more poke through up here than we did. So if we go here to here, copy using 1-to-1, apply, okay. Yeah, see a lot less poke through up there. And let's see. No, I guess it still is just as sharp coming down as before. So it might not make a huge difference on the skirts, you know, but it does make a difference, definitely to here. And it made a huge difference on the top, as far as this whole area in here. You know, if we go closest joint, which is the default, right? If we go here to here, apply, so you get all that poke through like crazy coming through. Not too bad on the front, but definitely on the back. A lot of poke through. So, alrighty, so just change this number 1 to 1-to-1. I haven't played with changing any of these or changing normalize. Let's try normalize. Remember, the cell poke through down here is this, not the mesh itself. So, alrighty, so if you were having problems, I don't know if this will fix, I know a lot of people have problems with the shoulders and stuff. I don't know if that will fix, this will fix that, but I figured I just found this out, just out of trial and error. So I thought, you know, why not make a quick video, post it, you know, we can try other things. We can try, how about ray casting? What does that look like? Oh, boy, that looks bad. That looks really bad. What if we go to voluptuous? Yeah, the breasts look even worse. Okay, so we don't want to use ray casting. That's for sure. Closest component. And I know this ain't going to work. Closest component doesn't look too bad. And what if I go to voluptuous? So closest component looks like it works fairly well. It looks like it works fairly well. What if we did ray cast but turn off the normalize? Does that really make any difference? No, we still get the crazies. crazy vertices shooting off in different directions. Got my pose. Here. Oops. Okay. So, and what would happen? So I'm just doing a whole bunch of, this is how I learn a lot of the times, is I'll just try different settings, see what works, what doesn't work. Every once in a while you find a gem of a setting. See? It's that closest joint thing is the biggest thing. Closest bone. They'll probably have the same problem, I bet. Oh, no. I don't know what the difference between the closest bone and a joint, because a joint and a bone are the same thing. But for some reason, it doesn't mind that. Oh, but boy, it did not like the breasts. It did not like the breasts at all, doing the closest bone. So let's go to, back to 1-to-1. Oh, sorry. Okay. See. So I have no idea. But if we have this to closest joint, see, that works fine. Closest joint works. I mean, but you have the problems with the back. So the breasts work fine, but you have the problems with the back. But if we go closest bone, I'm sure there's probably, if I look in the help, it will say what's the difference between selecting those two selections. If we do that one, yeah. And 1-to-1. Oh, sorry. 1-to-1. I have no idea. 1-to-1. I'm just trying different things out just to see what happens. So there's still a problem in between there. So I'll have to look up and see what these others do. But anyway, at least make sure that you put that 1-to-1-to-1. And if we normalize, do we get any advantages if you normalize? Nope. Okay. Alrighty. Well, just one more. Voluptuous. It's about the same. Okay. Well, anyway. So, yeah, definitely switch 1-to-1. And it looks like closest component will work fine. UV space, the UVs have to match up. And I know the UVs for this and this do not come anywhere close. So, I know if we were to use UV space, apply, yeah, it would go haywire. I knew it would. So, let's see. So, okay. So yeah, so that's it. So that's the big thing. You can try these other associations and you can try normalize without normalize, but the biggest, most important one seems to be, and this one you can't choose none. You have to have at least one. So switch to 1-to-1. And I'm hoping that I'll find something that, oh boy, doesn't like that either. Does not like label. 1-to-1. like that one. Okay, so anyway, so yeah, so that's the most important one, is that the influence. Make sure that you switch this to 1 to 1. And you can use closest point, and it looks like closest component also works really well. Raycasting does not appear to work that well at all. This wouldn't be super horrible to have to fix if the breasts, no, but the breasts are worse. I was going to say, if it fixes the breasts where it's easier, I thought raycasting might somehow cast from the normals and find a better, easier way of doing stuff like this that might work with skirts, but obviously not. So, alrighty. Well, like I said, I just wanted to do this quick video. I hope that quick little tip that I just discovered helps a lot in your rigging. Have a great day.